as a leader. That's what we're looking for. Not somebody that just listens to us, but somebody that hears us, and when he thinks we're right, tells us. When he thinks we're wrong, tells us. Because as I've told him, we don't come there asking for anything. We ask these people to pretend we don't exist. It would be really good if they just left us alone. Guys that got 25, 30 years on a job and your health care is gone, and young guys that are going to have to work till they're 65 years of age to have retirement health care, job has changed. 9 people in Delta Academy might be an indication of that. But this is a guy that listens to us, always has, been good to us in the state Senate, Congress, AG's office, Court of Appeals judge. Just can't keep a job. I don't know what to tell him. Maybe Bob can help us out. So please welcome Attorney General Bill Schuette.
I'm so glad I'm complimented you stood up. I'm glad you didn't leave the room. Thanks for sitting down. I'm delighted to be here. Jim, thank you. The friendship and leadership that Jim and I have had over decades now, something I value a great deal and from which I've benefited. And everybody here, your leadership on the executive board, Dan Kuhn, who's my neighborhood guy, so to speak, on the executive board, Ken Grabowski. Ken is a terrific guy with whom he and I have worked a long time. And Ken, thank you for your counsel, your advice, your leadership. I value it a great deal. And everybody here, every woman and man who wears a badge, and what you do to make sure our schools are places of learning, our streets are safe, our neighborhoods are secure. I appreciate what you do. And every family member here provides love and counsel, assistance, aid, encouragement. 4-letter word called love every day. Thank you for what you do for those women and men who serve in such an admirable fashion here across the state of Michigan. And if there's one thing I want to communicate today, is how significant I appreciate the significance and how much I appreciate the help of POAM. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your counsel. I appreciate your endorsement. And there is no bigger, more important organization endorsement that I, as a candidate for governor, could receive than POAM. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for your endorsement. It's a big deal for both of you. Members of the Michigan Supreme Court, talented folks, honored to be in your company. Peter D. O'Connell, the Court of Appeals judge, was here earlier, and let me re-emphasize that a couple of folks have talked about, and that is the election of Justice Beth Clement and Kurt Wilder. Those two individuals' election in November is so important to make sure that the Michigan Supreme Court reflects the law enforcement, knowledge, background, support to carry us through in the years ahead. So let's make sure we elect Beth Clement and Kurt Wilder, ladies and gentlemen. Give them a round of applause, please. Thank you. And I'm delighted to be here. Thank you. It's an honor. I've been coming here in different capacities as a judge on the Michigan Court of Appeals, as a state senator, as a congressman. Now this privilege to serve as Attorney General, so it's nice to be in your company. Now some of you may know my story. Get your map out, all right? That's how we talk in Michigan, right? I'm from a little town called Midland. I think there's some folks in the corner there from Midland. Scott Stevenson, my sheriff, isn't here today, but a great group in the community of Midland. My roots go a little bit farther back than that. My grandfather was a shop teacher in Cleveland, Ohio. My grandmother was an elementary school teacher in Cleveland. My mom and dad were high school sweethearts. They grew up in the Great Depression. And for you historians in the room, you know that was a time of economic calamity in America. People were out of work, out of luck, out of hope. It was a tough time. But those two high school sweethearts, my mom and dad. My dad was lucky enough to land a job in Midland. They motored from Cleveland to Midland and planted their flag and started a family and made Midland their home. My dad got a job in Down. He was an up-and-comer, but tragically, he died when he was only 47 years of age. I was a boy of 6. But my mom was tough, and she persevered and continued to kept Midland as our home, raised my 2 older sisters and me. And it wasn't until I was nearly out of college there was a guy smart enough to marry my mom. But I learned all important values from them, and you know, I'm here today not by accident, but you know, I ended up going into public service because my dad was an accomplished guy and achieved a lot. And quite frankly, I didn't think I could measure up and achieve the level of accomplishment he did. So I tried to see what else I might do to help make my dad proud. And it ended up being public service because I like solving problems. I like people. And that's how it happened. Now I had this huge privilege of serving as Michigan's Attorney General. Now, growing up in Midland, there was a bus stop on Applewood and Valley Drive. And I noticed a girl at the bus stop. The problem was she did not notice me. That's to be sure. And she went into broadcasting, I went into public service, but fortunately, that girl at the bus stop, we reconnected. Now we've been married 27 years of age, 27 years, my wife Cynthia and me. And we have 2 children. Our daughter Heidi is 25, our son Bill will be 23 in July, and we make Midland our home. And I learned through these values of growing up in a small town called Midland the importance of family, the significance of faith, the responsibility of giving back, and the importance of hard work. I had a paper route for a bit in Midland. I worked as a yard boy, construction out west, and I also was the head potato boy at Ponderosa Steakhouse. So I still like that place to this day. And those are the values that I put on every day as your Attorney General. And as I thought about coming here today, as I drove from Midland, I thought about those 4 values, but wanted to add one more, and that's called the importance of your word. It's about responsibility to tell the truth. I want you to remember that as we go through these comments I want to share with you. And this isn't just a transaction, but I'm here, I'm saying thanks for your endorsement to be Michigan's next governor. No, it's more significant and bigger and better and deeper than that. It's about a relationship, and that's what's so important. And I remember the very first time I came to POAM, Peter D. O'Connor took me to POAM. I met with the team. And we talked about 312. And as a judge on the Michigan Court of Appeals, I respected and honored 312. And let me tell you this today. As your next governor, I will respect and honor PA 312 as well, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good deal. Now, as Attorney General, your team, POAM, and I, we've worked together. And I've learned a lot from you. And I understand how you occupy this fragile space between chaos and order, between lawlessness and security. I remember on January 17th when Larry Hales died in southeastern Michigan. I went to his viewing and visitation and met with Linda. And after that, they caused me to have introduced in the legislature VO4, so that people who have 4 convicted felonies, you can imagine that, would be behind bars for 25 years. And that VO4 bill was, you know, stimulated by working with all of you. And I remember in September of 2012, when Amy O'Rourke lost Patrick, and she, Amy, was left with kids without a dad. And there are too many repeats of that across Michigan and across America. And as Attorney General, I made the decision in the Andrew Littleton case. And this was the guy who threatened and encouraged people to kill police officers down in southeastern Michigan. Some didn't take the case. I took the case, ladies and gentlemen. I got a conviction. And why did I take that case? I took that case because police officers' lives matter, ladies and gentlemen. Police officers' lives matter. We got to convince them. That's another thing. We all know what happened during the course of the Detroit bankruptcy. There was a question about the pensions of cops and firefighters. And I stood by the cops and firefighters, and I stuck by the Michigan Constitution, which says in its words, the pensions shall not be impaired. Now, some even in my own party had a different viewpoint. They were wrong. Because the Constitution, well, it means what is stated. And the Constitution, when it says shall not be impaired, doesn't have an asterisk that says, with a nod and a wink or a but. No nods, no winks, no buts. The Constitution means what is stated, and I am honored to fight, defend the pensions of cops and firefighters in the Detroit bankruptcy, and that's the type of Attorney General and Governor I will be, ladies and gentlemen. You know, this is all about relationships, and it's all about Michigan's future. And that's what 2018 is all about, and the endorsement that you made that I'm so honored to receive is all about. It's about the future. And I'm running for governor because I want to make sure that Michigan grows. And there's not one problem that couldn't be alleviated here in the state of Michigan if we didn't have more people, and if we were a growth state, a paycheck state. If we had more jobs and bigger paychecks, more people coming to Michigan instead of Tennessee's and Texas's and the Floridas. I want Michigan to be a place where we have cranes in the sky and jobs on the ground, but it means we need to make sure we attract people and we become a growth state. That would help everybody in this room. Michigan's biggest problem is population. Let me say this very clearly and very carefully. The biggest problem in Michigan is population, not the pensions of cops. Let me let you know that, ladies and gentlemen. And there are plenty of issues out there. School safety, health care, local dollars, and all of that. As I told Jim, I told Ken, Dave was part of that, Dan Kuhn as well. When there are issues that involve cops, law enforcement, that impact your lives, your families, your responsibilities, your commitment to public safety, you won't be on the outside. You'll be on the inside, at the table, before the discussions occur. And I tell you that because I went through the cred, the street cred I have, as I've listed here today, on your behalf, as a judge and as Attorney General. And I've had your back in the past as Attorney General. I will have your back as Governor of the state of Michigan. It will be an honor to serve as your governor, and ladies and gentlemen, I will be Michigan's cops governor. I will be Michigan's cops governor. Thank you very much. What an honor it is to be